Hello everyone, Seraphin here, welcome back for more Castlevania, Aria of Sorrow. When I last left you guys, we finished taking out the last regular enemy boss in the game, the fourth one, and we are moving on to the next area of the castle, now that we can kind of slide underneath some gaps here. In fact, I know exactly where we need to go to employ that particular ability, and I'm going the wrong way to do it, so we're going to go back this way real quick, and jump up this way. That's where we need to go. As soon as I get hit by this zombie officer. You silly Durgas, you mean nothing to me. They're not altogether all that scary. At any rate, speaking of throwing katanas at things, I keep forgetting I can do that now. They do about as much damage as my regular attack does, too. That's pretty nice. Good chunk of MP to cast it, but... Is this where the hidden room in the area, the roof is? Yeah, not quite as much damage as my regular hits, but pretty close. Lets me kill the Minotaurs in a single hit when I get near them. Is it up here? Yep, there it is. I think I'll break this now so I can come back here later and I don't have to look for it. So there is something up there, but I can't get up there just yet. But now that I know it's there, the hole will stay there. So moving on to the next area, after the dance hall. We get to the inner quarters. This has some very chill music. And we get Persephone here, who is a maid that knows jujitsu. Because reasons. Persephones are a little scary. They do a lot of damage, and actually they're very proficient in battle, so... And their soul is one of the weirder ones, I think. In fact, we're going to break this floor here and fight some student witches. Because witches get stitches, question mark? I don't know, don't listen to me. This is actually the only example in the game of a secret room having another secret room inside of it. And this is not a student witch, but a full-blown witch now, who casts some very potent fireball spells. And when she turns into a cat, just like the student one does, that one actually will hurt you if it runs into you. Unlike the student ones. It doesn't do a lot of damage, it's like 1 point, but... unlike these little student ones, when they die, those little purple cats will hurt you when they hit you. And I picked up what appeared to be a ninja suit in that last room. This thing, by the way, I encountered one in the dance hall, but I didn't explain it. It's the Nemesis. It's like a ghostly apparition that inhabits a sword. And while it does appear that you can see the apparition in certain instances, you can't actually hurt it. You need to hit the sword to kill it. And I think there's another example of this style of enemy later on in the game. But this is the only one I'm aware of for the time being. They're kind of neat looking, though. And then going in this room... Alright. Did you guys see a bunny with a stopwatch? And then I got teleported out of the room? Yeah, that's what I thought. At any rate, you can't go in there yet. There is an ability that I need to progress past said bunny with a stopwatch, but I don't have it yet. And that bunny actually is a regular enemy. I believe that's the only instance of that enemy in the game, but I can't fight him yet. Because I can't even get near him. So we'll come back here much, much later to deal with that particular instance, but for the now, we're just going to keep going. I do think it's funny that it's a bunny with a stopwatch. It makes it sound like it's the Alice in Wonderland rabbit. Because he's late. He's late. I haven't seen that movie in ages. Now, why do I remember so much about it? That's the other fun thing. There's a lot of Disney movies that I haven't seen since I was very, very little, but I remember them very clearly. Alice in Wonderland is a good example of that. So here we go. We have another boss room already. I know, right? It seems like we're doing them pretty quick. So this is the first actual boss that is the only encountered once. It's not a normal enemy made to look like a boss. This is a real boss. And is a bit of a jump in difficulty from the stuff we've been dealing with thus far. So this is the Headhunter. As you can see, it is a headless creature that appears as a woman in a dress, and she just had her head attached. This iteration of the Headhunter doesn't do a whole heck of a lot, other than she has a little dagger in her hand and trying to stab me. But we can make quick work of that. And you'll see it's not all that difficult. Knock that head off, and then on comes this head, which is that of like an old hag kind of witch person. And this one flies around the room a bit and casts fire spells. which hurt a lot. And thunder spells. Lots of spells. Not a fan. That being said, I think all this version does is jump around or float around and cast spells. It's not altogether all that dodgy. Pretty easy to hit. As long as you stay out of the way of the fireballs and the lightning, then it's not going to do much damage. As long as you don't, jump into it and get hit from... There we go. We move on to the final form, which is this creepy-looking lizard thing in a dress. I am going to equip my zombie soul because this thing has a poison attack, and if it hits me, I want to get stronger. It has a poison... That cloud right there will poison me. The tongue is just a regular old attack from distance, but the poison mist there is what I want to be careful of. Again, I don't believe poison actually hurts you over time in this game, much like it would, for example, in Pokemon or something like that. But it does weaken your regular attack strength unless you have that zombie soul equipped. And then poison makes you stronger. I might let her do it just so I can show you. I'm poison anyway, there we go. So now you'll see, instead of the, 27 damage I was doing, now I'm doing 40 or 55. So, quite a bit tougher. And as you'll see, I'm also taking a lot more damage from this thing than I was from any other previous boss fight. There we go. Little clutch there for a minute. So we knocked all 3 heads off the Headhunter, and we get its soul, the Headhunter. So this is what I was talking about before, the only factor in the game that actually cares about how many total souls you have, so like additional copies of souls. This Headhunter soul will make you stronger based on the total number of souls you have. And I will show you that presently after I pick up this little health orb thing here. So if I look at my soul set, Headhunter is a yellow one. And as you can see, if I equip it right now, it'll give me a flat +2 to everything. Except luck. It does not increase your luck. The more total souls I collect, the stronger this gets. And I think it goes up to a maximum bonus of like +31 in all 3 stats. Which is kind of ridiculous. In a good way. So if I were to have like 9 of every soul that I'm capable of getting 9 of, I will only ever get 1 Headhunter soul. There's only 1 Headhunter in the game. You're guaranteed to get the soul, and I will never fight it again. So I only get 1 Headhunter soul. I don't even know if it counts itself. I hadn't thought of that, actually. There's a few bosses that only have 1 copy of their soul, but every other regular enemy you can farm for days and get 9 copies of. So if I were to get 9 of everything, this would be maxed out powerful, and like I said, I think it'd be +31 or +32 to every stat. But for the time being, we're going to keep the Ghost Dancer on because I like having extra souls or extra farmability stuff. And now we see what looks to be a Durga, but it is not. It is an upgraded version of the Durga called the Curly, because that's an interesting name for it. They hurt a lot. They hurt quite a bit. That being said, we're going to move down here and take out more Curlies. They have a neat soul. So, Curly's soul falls into a category of... That's a Valkyrie. I hate those things. Curly has a Guardian soul, so a blue one. And when you activate it, it actually transforms you into a giant beast, and you just fly across the screen and kill everything in your path. There's a couple of souls that do the same thing. They're different versions of it, basically. And here's a puddle of, like, a little fountain that we can't get into. And we can't double jump up here. Not quite. We don't have the distance yet, so... We can't progress that direction just yet. We're going to go in here, though. And fight more Curlies. My favorite. Ow. If I had a more distance... I need a better distance weapon for those things. Valkyries are annoying. Oh, a partisan. Not partisan like politics, but a partisan like a razor-tipped lance. And that thing in the mirror actually is a monster. It's a Kioma demon, or Kioma demon. Excuse me. The only way they hit them is when they pop out of the mirror like that. And it occurred to me that I actually missed something up here. Not just the Curlies, but... Might as well kill more of them on the way, because they're worth some valuable EXP. We have this little area on the roof of the castle, or like outside of it, kind of. You can see that crazy, like, gray miasma in the background. A little spooky out here, not gonna lie. Let me get this upstanding gentleman, the disc armor. Ow. Razor sharp saw blades, never any fun. Not in my opinion, anyway. I'm not sure what this whole, like, external catwalk is supposed to signify in terms of what it would be in a real castle. Ow. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I just sneezed on camera. That's very unprofessional. And by camera, I of course mean you can't see me, but you can hear me. The annoying thing with these disc armor guys is not only do they like kind of yo-yo the disc like that, but if you stay far enough away from them, they'll just kind of let it off the chain and let it roll at you instead. Which is obnoxious, and it hurts a lot, and I don't like it. These guys also hit like trucks if you're not careful. And as you can see, they've been taking me to town right now. Ooh, iron plate. That's nice. What's up here? A yellow soul for free. Undine. Walk on water surfaces. This turns you into Jesus. This will let you walk on water, which is nice. And then up here we have Hrunting. This is really cool. So, as I believe I mentioned, maybe I didn't, maybe not specifically, I'm a massive nerd for like mythology and that kind of thing. This is one point working my katana, but if you look at this, oh, isn't that cool? So this is a poisoned sword. It inflicts not only regular weapon damage, but also poison damage. So if something is vulnerable to poison, this will mess up their day. And I really, really like that attack animation. It's like splashing poison everywhere. At any rate, Hrunting is a Norse weapon because it is the sword of Beowulf of Norse legend, or the story, really. So if you're familiar with Beowulf at all, this Hrunting is the sword that he used to slay Grendel. And that's why the name is significant. I don't know that it's supposed to be poisoned, necessarily, in Beowulf. I think it is, actually. I think it... Yeah, it is poison, that's right. Beowulf had to poison the sword to kill Grendel with it. But that's the basis for that. So it actually has some, you know, literary significance, which I think is really neat. And it's not the only weapon like that either. There's plenty of them in this game that are, like, taken from real mythological sources. So now, before, where I couldn't jump up here because I can't quite get high enough, now that I have that Undying Soul, if I equip that, I can stand on the surface of the water and jump off of it. And now I can just get up here. So that's what that's for. It's pretty situational, actually, the Undying Soul. There's places where you need it to progress, like right there, for example. But beyond that, you don't really need it all that often. Not to my knowledge, at any rate. It just occurred to me that I have not seen a save room for some time, and my health is rather low. So I'd like to take care of that if I can, quickly here. That is an imp. Imps are annoying. If they hit you, they don't damage you, per se, but the little pitchforks that they have will, like, stun you temporarily, and they kind of, like, take control of your body and make it so you just stand in one place swinging wildly for, like, a couple of seconds. And while you're swinging wildly, obviously you're not able to move or attack anything behind you or to the side of you, so you're kind of vulnerable when they're doing that. Need to watch out for Curly here. Yeah, I'm getting a little low on the HP pool here. I don't know where the next save room is. I'm hoping it's right around the corner here. Nope, not that way. Maybe? Let's find out. Persephone shouldn't take much more than a couple hits. She gets a free scarf. How nice. And Valkyries, if you don't hit them on the if you don't kill them on the initial hit like that, they swing down at you, and they go underneath you, and they become really hard to hit. And you can see there's another Kyoma demon back here, and he actually jumps with you, which is kind of hilarious. I thought that was pretty funny. And Persephone shouldn't take much to kill. Sadly, when you level up, you do not gain all your health back right away. Oh, a teleportation room. This is actually convenient. I'm going to use this teleport back to the beginning of the castle, so I can heal up and sell some stuff. And Hammer, actually, the inventory of his shop will change between every boss fight. So if you come back and visit him after every boss, he'll have new stuff. Actually, I don't think it changes so much as he just adds more stuff. So here you see he has 2 sword racks now. So let's see what he has for sale now real quick. Last time he stopped right here at the katana. Now he has a cutall, which is a short little stabby knife thing. He has a warhammer. Holy smokes, that's a lot of damage. He has an estoc, which is a very thin, pointy, piercing sword. A trident. Sounds cool. I'm not Aquaman, though. I did get a lance somewhere. That's alright. Claymore. Ooh, I love claymores. We already have a partisan. Grom. This is great. This is an amazing sword. I might need to buy this, actually. Very, very fun. Look at the damage on that sucker, too. And a lot of range. I'm actually going to buy Grom. This is great. I'll show you why in a minute. I picked up an iron plate from some kind of drop somewhere. Army jacket, steel plate, crimson cloak. Ooh, crimson cloak. That's pretty neat. I'm going to poke through my inventory, actually, and find out what I need. But I'll do that next time. So thank you all very much for joining me up to this point. I'm hoping you're enjoying the series so far. We will continue with more shopping and more boss killing in the next episode. So until that time, this has been Seraphin. Thank you very much. Stay classy, internets.